I just want to dig in and find some of this truth because we all go back and forth. Speaking of free, is Christopher Columbus.
Oh, yes.
It's
yes.
October 12th. This year is October 8th, which is also the day I was born on. So I'm kind of jealous because it should be Nick Cannon Day.
Cannon Day. You can take the day off, bro. Don't start something, man. More people take a Cannon Day off than will.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
But again, like, and you know, I like to kind of be as harsh as possible, but it's like to give somebody like Christopher Columbus a holiday, the same way of giving like Hitler a holiday.
Oh, of course.
You know, like you're gonna have Hitler Day.
No question.
And people, you know, black folks will probably take it off too.
Shit, it's a day off, brother. We take July 4th off. We won't be saluting the flag, but we will get some barbecue, and play some bit-whist or some spades.
But then to go to dig a little bit deeper, as I've done the research to just see really Christopher Columbus, first of all, the world, he did not discover that the world was round. People, Aristotle, and even during that time.
Well, most of the world knew it was round. The people who didn't know it was round were living in Western Eurasia.
Right.
We call it Europe, brother.
Right.
Like, why y'all think the world is flat? The Chinese, the Arabs, everybody know that.
And then the idea, really, Christopher Columbus, he believed the world was smaller than it actually was. And it was the small world concept. So he thought he could go and travel west and get to India/Asia quicker because it was this whole race. Really, it was like a drug trade.
Oh, no question.
Ultimately.
And they were blocked by the Muslims, so they couldn't go that way.
Yeah, so they was like, we got to get to that bag one way
we got to
or
get
another.
that bag one way.
And he didn't know that there was a whole land of America with people already on it.
Yep.
And then the fact that he never even made it to mainland America. Nope. He went to the Caribbean.
A couple little specks. Man.
Yeah.
Hispaniola.
Yeah. and even down there, it was, I believe it was what the Taino people.
Taino people.
It was like 3 million of them.
Oh, no question.
Maybe even more.
Look, man, Charles Mann suspects in his book 1491, he thinks that there could have been as many as 100 million people on this side of this ball.
Wow.
When Columbus came.
But he just showed up like, I discovered it.
Yeah, but that's Europe though.
Right.
Yeah, the great historian.
And again, because they feel like all of the colonizers and Christopher Columbus, and it being specific, was like their mission was to conquer, was to go and spread. Sure. What was it? God, or what was it? Gold, glory, and God.
And God, yes, that's right.
And then that idea of like, go get the gold. They was looking for the bag. They was looking for the praise. They was looking for the fame.
No question.
And then they was looking to spread Catholicism,
which is crazy, which is an African export.
Right.
European Christianity or Catholicism, if they weren't for Africa, if it weren't for Egypt, that's where it comes from.
Right.
The Hebrews,
and they took it,
really,
made it their own,
own,
wrote it the way, and then they want to put it back out.
Yeah.
And bastardize it in a way.
That's exactly right. Introduced a new concept in the world, conversion.
Yeah.
Because most traditions in the world, spiritual traditions, don't convert you to what they believe.
Right.
They believe you get to God through your ancestors.
Right.
So the idea that I would convert you or you would convert me into something that you believe or I believe,
yeah,
it was a new phenomenon in world history. Right?
Yeah.
It was what the Muslims had done. But again, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism come out of the same African root.
Yeah.
And Judaism doesn't convert like that.
Right.
It's Christianity and Islam. So they started this mess.
Yeah. And then even to go that deeper, and like I ain't even gonna knock Christopher Columbus as a hustler. He was a hustler.
Nah,
he couldn't get nobody to rock with him.
Nobody.
So then he found Spain.
Yep.
He's Italian.
And Spain's kind of a metaphor. Really.
Yeah.
It's really Ferdinand and Isabella.
Right.
And then part of the reason those two come together is they trying to get rid of the remnants of the Muslims.
Right.
Again, this is really a war with the Muslims that even allows Columbus to go to approach them and say, look, I need some resources.
Yeah. And then he says you need a couple of ships, the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria.
Yeah.
They hit the water.
With a black man, Pedro Alonso Nino.
Exactly.
You know, somebody black always there. Like, bro,
know how to get there.
I roll with y'all. Yeah. No.
So then even in that concept, it's like dude gets to a land that he thought was India.
Right. Right. So they Indians.
Yeah, he clearly off. But then once he gets there, he starts to rape and pillage, which where now a lot of the indigenous people, and you know, we all should be upset that we would want to give a holiday to someone who really just came in and it was mass slaughter. They said it was 3 million people or more there, and then by the time he left, it was like
wiped them out, man.
Couple of 100,000. Yeah. It was in the thousands.
Yeah.
And
through disease and just sheer cruelty.
Right.
So bad that even the Catholic priests, man, it was like, yo, dude, really, Bartholomew de la Casa, wrote his book, The Devastation of the Indies.
When he showed up,
he's like, yo, what?
That's that book. If y'all want, we're going to put it at the bottom. You can get that.
That's right. Devastation of the Indies. Y'all see, Cannon's class has got a curriculum. Understand that's how it works. So,
to go, and they were even saying it was the ideas of like, they were selling young girls at the age of 9 to 10.
Oh, no question.
And like slavery was big. So when you think, I made that statement of like, Christopher Columbus is worse than Hitler. But in that idea, like, he was slaughtering millions.
Yes.
And one of the first slave owners of America.
That's right.
Was taking slave the Taino people back to Europe.
Right, in chains. Right.
Yeah. And then to get more people to come back. And he was like, so gold wasn't the crop they were getting. They were getting the people and the land.
That's exactly right.
And then this is somebody that we say, one, discovered America, which he never set foot on on mainland America, and had nothing to do with the earth being round. That's right. So to go to that concept that we see that these are all lies, but then we've been the propaganda, and what is the purpose? Why lie to your people? And then, and from what I found super interesting was the fact that there was this a novelist. The same dude who wrote Sleepy Hollow or the Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Yes, sir.
Was it Washington Irving?
That's right.
Washington Irving wrote Columbus's biography to kind of be this propaganda years after he had, because Columbus, they arrested Columbus, he went to jail.
They took him back in chains at one point. That's right.
But then they sensationalized the story and said he discovered America in this biography. They said he discovered that the earth was round and made him a hero.
That's right.
For the European people, specifically the Italian people.
Right.
So then now when you have Italians here in America or European people in America, like, we discovered this place.
Isn't that crazy?
And it's like,
and still using Columbus's anglicized name, which he wouldn't have recognized.
Right.
It was either Cristoforo Colombo or in Spanish Cristobal Colon.
Yeah.
But Christopher Columbus, that's English. Y'all done y'all even made the man name up.
Right.
Columbus, who?
What's the purpose of that? Is it just that European mentality of like, we need our heroes and we need our holidays?
Yeah. I think it's human.
Right.
But I think in this particular human moment, we see its manifestation in what we call Europe.
Right.
Europe's imaginary. You got school children who think that Europe is a continent.
Right.
It's not a continent. It's Western Eurasia. Eurasia is the continent. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Europe is so powerful an idea that it's literally separated from the rest of humanity.
Wow.
And then imposed on the rest of us at the top. Like they create a hierarchy, put it at even the maps.
That's what I say, even the globe and stuff, they make it seem like
it's in space. We don't know which way, but they flatten it out into a map and put themselves there. And then say first, second, third world. Yeah, everything's like sub-Saharan Africa.
Deep.
Wait, Middle East. What? Europe, that little part. But it's human.
Right.
All myths are stories.
Right.
I mean, when we read the Christian Bible, they put that together.
Yeah.
And the only thing that holds the New Testament and the Old Testament together is all them begats at the beginning of Matthew.
Right.
And they say that this ain't even eyewitness testimony. Hundreds of years later, we wrote down what somebody heard about. Right? So Jesus, and I used to kid in class, man, I say, if you come back in 300 years, Martin Luther King, you're going to say, Dr. King came and waved his hands and the dogs went to sleep and the fire hoses went down. Because myths are what allow people to build community.
Yeah. And it makes those people larger than life.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And that's how Columbus becomes a hero.
Right.
That's how Americo Vespucci gets his name on a whole half of a ball.
Right.
That's how the Azteca get erased, because Hernando Cortez meets with them, and what gets left in the archive is the debates that the Catholic priests had with the Azteca on the nature of God once they started talking to each other. These people didn't just lay down for them.
Yeah.
But
the winners write the history.
That's exactly right. And setting all that aside, to your point, Nick, in the mid-19th century in this country, up until the early 20th century, as people came from Europe, increasingly from Central and Southern Europe,
right,
they were not white when they came here.
Right.
They were Italians and Irish and Greek and Germans. They become, you know what I'm saying?
It wasn't the word white.
It wasn't white.
Yeah.
What they learned very quickly was two things. Number one, how you get ahead in America. If you can acquire whiteness, that's what you do. And part of acquiring whiteness means you got to say you're not a nigger.
Yeah.
So that's when you see them move away from black people. You know, they ain't got nothing.
Right.
The second thing they learn is, in order to maintain your identity, you must contribute some rituals to this American tapestry.
Yeah.
So what did this group, the Italians, contribute? Columbus Day.
We discovered it.
Exactly. So they're making this thing up.
Right.
There is no such thing as American culture.
Right.
What we call America is a constant cultural war between groups trying to avoid last place.
Wow.
I mean, that's really what it is, man. So, but what you said though, we take the day off. Why? Because it's a day off.
It's a day
you know
off.
What I'm saying? But what we're not gonna do is bow to Columbus. And then finally, what our kindred, our blood kindred in many ways, the Native Americans, the First Nations people of this land,
the indigenous people.
The indigenous people, which is the point. What they started doing is saying, no, this is Indigenous Peoples Day.
Right.
And increasingly around the country and around the hemisphere,
right,
people celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day.